Okay, guys, this is Jermaine Freeman, better known as J Free. Get ready to show you how to edit the sounds or your voices, your voice patches in the performance mode. I've been trying to figure this out, and I finally went back to the manual to read it again and make sure that I wasn't missing something, and I actually was, which is very uncommon with me. I normally very detailed in reading or what have you. But at any rate, this is how you do it. So here we have the I'm in voice mode now, so I'm just going to switch over to performance mode, and I'm actually on the classic. You see the J Free set I've already initialized, but I'm gonna just go to another set, and then I'm gonna click on the job, which is going to initialize the setting. Hit enter. Yes, and we're going to start with a clean slate. So if you go back to perform, you'll see that I've actually initialized the performance. I can go to the voice and you'll see that it's got the power grand voice. And just for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to, well, let's just leave the power grand there. I'm going to add another sound. I'm going to go to category here, and let's select pads. And I was actually wanted to edit a pad to put in under my piano sounds. So I'm just going to use this analog. And the thing about pads are many times when you're doing movements or runs or what have you with your pads, you don't want it to necessarily sound off when you're hitting the piano. So I have that pad. So if I'm doing, I don't necessarily want that pad to sound off on those attack notes. So the best way to do that is to adjust the attack. So when you attack the note, it won't sound off when you're playing the actual piano sounds. So the best way to do that is to edit those parameters. So like your resonance, your attack, your sustain, and all of that type stuff. The way you do that in the performance mode, you see here I'm in performance. We're going to go to edit. So you'll go to edit, and then you have all of these different options. You have your voice, you have your tune, your filter, your FEG, and your AEG. Okay, the FEG is basically the filter envelope generator, and then you have the same thing here. But in order to affect those sounds, you want to actually go to the attack. So we say the attack, I'm just going to turn it up and say the attack has to be at a 20 before it'll even sound. Now I'm going to turn off the piano, and I'm going to bring up the actual pad. And as you can see already, let me go back to 0. You can see already you can hear that, right? So when I begin to go up, the more I go up, the less you'll be able to hear that attack. So I normally put it on around about 20. So it's barely audible when I'm playing it with the piano. Of course, you'll mix that in as well over here. But you hear it. So now you don't necessarily hear it on the stabs. You know, when you're doing that. And so what'll happen is when you're doing worship stuff, it'll just sound doing your worship stuff. So if you decide to make a sudden move, or you don't hear that type of stuff. And I'm playing with one hand right now, so you can't hear the bottom. So that's how you actually do it. Same thing with your sustain and your release. If you want to shorten your sustain, you know, you can do that as well. You know, your release, how long, you know, the notes play on the outside. That's good for different sounds as well. And that's about it. And the thing about it is, you see how it's got the 4 parts broken down, part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. The way you select the parts is once you enter into the edit mode, you'll come over in this section here, and then you'll see where you can select which part, the first 3 parts of the actual sound. So I'm actually editing part 2, which was actually the pad. If I wanted to edit part 1, which is the piano, the full grand piano, then I would select 1, and then it'll edit that. And then after that, all you have to do is, excuse me, all you have to do is click over here to store. And now we're going to say enter. And then all you have to click is yes. And you would actually store this patch in your actual performance. Actually, I have done that already. If we go back to performance and then go back to J Free set, you'll see here I have my pad and my power grand already saved. I'm going to add some additional sounds to that. But I just wanted to record this quick video for you just to show you how to do that and edit those sounds in your in the performance mode. All right, talk to you later. Holla.